Good morning, folks. Welcome back. I'd just like to say thank you very much for the thumbs up on the previous video. We hit 10 so far. I'd also like to thank you for the for all the comments. Grateful as hell. Glad everyone's picking up on what I'm doing. That's quite funny. A bad week yesterday, missed deliveries and everything. My beer mats that were sent through Royal Mail, you ain't gonna believe it. Yeah, you got it. They turned up today. They were sent. They were 10 days in the postal system. 10 days on a second class postage. They got stuck at Chelmsford because nobody could figure out where to send them. The person who ripped the envelope out, possibly that person, possibly not, somebody had put my postcode on there and removed a number, literally scribbled over the number, and when the post office picked up the parcel and put their stamp on it, they'd put the wrong postcode. I mean, it had all the letters and numbers of my postcode in it, but it was all jumbled up. So I'm not surprised it barely got here. In fact, I'm surprised it did get here. But yeah, my parcel of 120 beer mats has finally blinking turned up. Only thing is the person that sent them has actually given me a refund since. These are scanned, so I emailed the person in question. I'm an honest person, I'm not a dishonest person, and I have told them that they have turned up. Now, in my original post that I sent her when I wanted me refund, I did say I'd send them back, but I still don't have enough beer mats to do both walls, so I'm going to keep them regardless, and subject to what she wants to do or he wants to do with the money, we'll have to sort something out, even if I have to order another 3 more and tell them not to send them, is what we'll do. The only thing I'm a little bit narked off about is out of 120 in the pictures there was a Guinness beer mat and in the shape of a shield, and that was the reason why I ordered them, because that was a centerpiece that I was planning on using. It weren't in the packet. So she wasn't, or he wasn't exactly the most honest of sellers anyway, because what was in the pictures was not what was sent. So that has annoyed me a little bit more, but we're not going to do a week of annoyance, because last week's video was just full of controversy and anger, and I just really couldn't, I was struggling, I was really struggling. So this week we're going to very quietly and carefully create 2 splashbacks, because I need to get away from all of the mechanical issues that I'm facing, because I need a break. If I don't put all this stuff down, I will get very close to quitting, and that's the truth. One of the other jobs I'd like to start this week is to strip all of these cupboard doors off. I've even varnished some of them and strip them back down to bare wood and stain them up in a nice dark colour like that. And I'd also like to try and remove all this bloody varnish that I put on here and get that down to a dark stain. I think the dark wood would look better. Not necessarily that one, but I definitely would like to rip that one down, because we've still got that one to make as yet. But today, and for the remainder of the week, is beer mats. And if we've got enough time left over, because I might have these done within 4 days, if we've got enough time left over, we'll find something else to do to add to the video, and I will do my best to do a stage by stage and lay everything out and so forth, and we'll follow this properly if we are capable of doing so. Now, I've got 2 sheet supply left, bit supply. I don't know if there's enough to do that one, but there's definitely enough to cut out and sort that out. So what we've got to do, let me move them out of the way, we've got to cut around, we can't put behind, unfortunately. So we've got to cut that shape out, which isn't going to be very easy. So this door has got to come off. So before I take that door off, I think what we're going to do, because it's a wonky cut, because it was curved and I cut it wrong, we're going to put masking tape down and we're going to recut this. And the reason why we're going to recut it is because we're going to get some lacquer this week. We're not going to do epoxy. I'd love to do it with epoxy, but I'm going to lacquer it, all of the wall stuff. I'm going to cover them in lacquer, and that'll give me the opportunity to go back over this, because once I've cut that back, that's going to splinter all the lacquer off. So we're going to cut that edge and that edge. We're going to get that further away from this one, and then we're going to, you can see how wonky that line is. We're then going to straighten this line up, and then we'll put it back on at a later date. But that'll also give me access to that area there, so when I draw around it to create the shape in the plywood, we can very easily refit. There is a small gap there, so we could actually slide the beer mats underneath, but it only goes to that point. It doesn't go any higher because this wall is in the way, and it's a double lined wall, which means I can't access the screws, because I would actually love to take that down and just put a whole piece up and draw around it and then just go up as far as the drawing line. But no, unfortunately that ain't going to happen. We are going to have to physically cut the wood out to fit on both sides. There you go, extractor removed. Well, front, found it in a skip year, well, about 2 years ago, and we did clean it, but trust me, it was in a hell of a state, and that's about as clean as we could get it. But to be honest with you, I think it's still fairly grubby. All the dust that's been in the truck has stuck to the fact that we couldn't get rid of or didn't see, so that needs more cleaning, more to do. That'll cheer her up. But at least now it gives me a proper access to this area. There we go, guys. We'll cut that out as carefully as possible, and then we should have a shape that has to go in there, and then we'll measure off from that. Once we've got that, we'll measure up, down, cross and all the rest of it, and we'll get that so it snugly fits in. We will do the same on this side, but that is for another day, because I don't think we'll get that one done today. So if you wonder what that noise is, that's this blooming thing up here. I'm going to change the fans on that eventually, get them quieter. Right, there you go. The shape is fully cut out now, fits that like a glove. A little bit, well, I say like a glove, a little discrepancy going on there, but there is a gap there anyway, so we can slide that underneath, and we'll be trimming off where we can. We have a problem, Houston. My wood isn't big enough to do one sheet throughout the whole area. Well, that's good enough for me. That's about as close as we're going to get it. I've got most of it pretty much spot on. So really what we need to establish now, the next piece that's going to be going on below that point, I need to cut it. Right, we are now ready for the layup. Now the reason why I'm doing this on separate boards is because I can lay everything flat. I've got to lacquer this after, and if it was on the wall, I mean, it's possible to spray without a problem, but I was going to put two really runny soak-in coats, and then I was going to hand brush neat 2K lacquer over the top to get the final seal, because I know lacquer will flatten itself out as it establishes itself in all the nooks and crannies, and then I can screw that once it's properly dry. It'll take a couple of days. Once it's properly dry, we can then offer that all up. So yeah, that's the reason for it, in case anyone was wondering. Now this one will go straight in. It's what came the other day that I got. California. Oh right, somebody tried to do the competition. Anyway, that was a lot I picked up from Harwich and the local pub. This is the lot that came through this morning, and I'm not lying, I'm absolutely gutted that the one that made me buy these is not flipping in here. I mean, that is on its own a decent centrepiece, yes?
Yeah.
And we've got these weird ones. I'm not going to use them.
I don't like them.
I know you don't like them, I like them. Where is that last little piece you found? Guinness tops. No, that wasn't that one, it was a square one. Definitely want side by side. I don't want to tamper with those ones. At some point I need to get that one in, so that will be an overlay that will go in at that angle, I reckon. So another rub. Okay, I won't say rubbish, but that's, yeah, it's a bit on the big side, isn't it? Right, first few are in, but I managed to cock one up already. Typical. That one's sticking. IPA is sticking. We've just got to get the Adnams in, and then we're going to work around. So Adnams is going over the German one, of course, and then the Easy Jack is going to go through the middle of those ones. We've already cut the circle out for this one. That goes up that corner, and then we'll put Tolly cobbled on, and we'll put the Olston Pilsner, just because it's a 3-card one and I like the look of it. But and then Worthington over the Wards and the Coors. Sorry, America. So that's where we're off to with this so far. I'm pretty pleased with the way this is going. I'm a little annoyed about that though. Oh, I've got plenty, I could rip that out, but I like the windmill. That's the colour. I need the colours to stand out as best as possible. Once we lacquer this all up, I think it's going to look rather good. Right, well that one was a bit of an experiment. I didn't quite get it right, but I can now start filling these corners in by doing this. It's not brilliant, and it's not easy, because I've already put the first ones down. I should have really started from top, worked my way down, and having all of them open, and I did balls this one up because I've torn in to the cardboard a little bit, but we can touch up with permanent marker just to fill in where we've messed up. Like here we can put permanent marker in there. I think that will work fine. So yeah, there's some crazy ones here. Mucked up that corner a bit, but I think once it goes in place, I think it's going to look okay. Quick sneak. I started off just laying them on randomly and then realising that I'm going to have gaps and I needed to find a way around that. So in the end, this took me 5 times longer, and it's the best I can come up with. I'm not very good at this sort of stuff. So we've cut round everything, and the ones that are my favourite are the ones I've highlighted, which is Tolly, Pilsner, Adams. They just look good, so I put it in there. And there's a few at top. Goldwell for girls. We did have Bass for men as well, but I had to cut round that one because I like this Jubilee one down here. So yeah. So, give you some idea how this, or where this is heading. Now we've got to do the bottom piece. Morning guys, new day. I was up till 2 in the morning getting that bottom one done. I'm not quite sure how this bottom one has gone in comparison to the top one. Top one was definitely a good job done. So here it is, and there's the top one. Sorry about the light, there ain't much good in here. So there you go. We've just got the other side to do, and I've kind of run out of good quality cards. They're good to me, you know what I mean? The South Wild, Tolly, the Holston, they're the ones that made this one. Some of the special ones up top. Some of the antique ones that I had, like these 3 here, which I found utterly weird, they got put in. But there's nothing else on that bottom one that's really, to me, that screams special apart from the Guinness one, and even that ain't that great. So yeah, I am very pleased with the top one. That went perfect. Bottom one, not so. So, today, lacquering. Does it work, or is it just too much? I've only done this side at the moment. That's the kind of look you get when you approach the sink. Believe it or not, a coat of lacquer has gone on that, and it doesn't look like it's touched it. I knew it would drink it, I just didn't know how much it would drink it by. Literally a whole litre, sorry, half a litre of 70% thinners. The next job is we're going to get back to that, because Sutton Digital Media, that's Alex, who's got the prison van over the road there, has just got hold of me this morning to say that he's pulling his escape hatches out, which means I can then follow through on that. But I'll need to go around and give the guy a hand. Go and check his channel out if you're interested in builds, because he's about to start putting fresh videos up with his prison van up. I gave him a hand with a strip down, and there's been a few cock-ups that happened to me, and I don't know if it's recorded them, but I have told him to use them, so there might be some amusement for you on that one at least. So yeah, it's a very, very nice van, very well built, that's all I can say. Go and check it out, Sutton Digital Media. I think he's just labelled himself as Sutton Digital. But I don't know what went wrong with that. That's more out of square now than it was before. Anyway, 4 coats on here now, and it's still drinking it. The last 2 coats were 50-50 almost. So I'm pretty pleased with this. I just need to get it more lacquer than what it is. So we're going to leave this for about an hour, and I'm going to nip over the road, and then I'll come back and I'll put a couple of more coats on. Something I want to note that I am going to do differently on the next ones. If you notice here, the Bell's Whiskey one, we've got the nice light blue sky, and then it's gone all dark and horrible. What has happened, same here, look, what has happened is the glue that I was using to put this on, which is a wood adhesive, in that area it spilt over. I had a bit of a nightmare with it, so it's nice and light there, but that all fell apart, so I had to PVA over the top, and then I couldn't rub it off. That has actually sealed the card a lot better, because you can see the colour. So what I will do on the next one, I will mix, I'll do a couple of coats, I'll mix some PVA up with some water, and I will brush over the top, because I'm not varnishing this. If you varnish it, it will come out different. Because I've lacquered it and there's no dye in the lacquer, it won't show the glue up so much. You can see little shiny spots where the glue hit, and that hasn't soaked in the lacquer. So I think the next one I'm going to completely cover the whole thing in PVA, let that drink it in, and then hopefully when we put the lacquer on, the next ones that will come up a lot brighter, because I've lost some of the brightness in these. This one's a nightmare. This is an old 70s one, I'm sure of it, and that is seriously drinking the liquid. I'm having a nightmare with that one. Well, this is an escape hatch from a prison. I actually find this more amusing than it. And I went up there today to get that off. That bloody ice cream van, he never fails, do he? Never fails. As you can see, the hatch has been removed, and I've wire brushed back all of that horrible paint that the sealant just refuses to stick to. It had unstuck here and the same on the other side. It just was not holding one little bit. So yeah, paint's gone, hatch is gone, and so is some of my skin. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I took my eye off the ball for a split bleeding second using that. The brush is too big to keep the guard on. Just for a split bloody second, I caught my leg. Now, if you don't like blood, look away now. Check that out. Now, that is a war wound and a half. This blasted van, I'll tell you, that's had everything out of me. Tears, sweat, blood, the lot.